The story is about a man named Kevin who works in Atlantic City for close to 20 years. In the food and beverage department, Kevin loves his job as a waiter and takes it very seriously. On a typical Friday night 4 years ago, Kevin was working in the VIP room with the high rollers in a fine dining club. As he sets up for the day, Kevin is asked by his manager to pick up an extra table, and he says, sure, thought nothing of it. Kevin continued to set up, and the hostess assisted him and let him know, do you know you're waiting on a football player? With much of his surprise, he asked, who is this football player and what team does he play for? She replied she was not sure. But his reservation is sometime between 9 and 10 o'clock. Next, as the night goes along, the restaurant fills up with people around 8 o'clock, and 9 o'clock comes and goes. 10 o'clock comes and goes, and still no private party. So toward the end of the night, Kevin checked with the front desk. So what happened to the private party scheduled between 9 and 9:30? The hostess let him know, oh my God, you just missed him. He was here for a minute with his guests and he seemed a little drunk, but they got into a big argument and stormed out the door and canceled their reservation. So Kevin, overwhelmed by the news, has decided to leave work early since he had no more parties he was waiting on. A few minutes later, Kevin changed into his street clothes and out of his work uniform and decided to do something he never does. He decided to go hang out after work. Well, a few minutes later, he seen Johnny Manziel at a bar by himself. Kevin walked up to him and introduced himself. Hello, Mr. Manziel. My name is Kevin. I am the waiter that works in a private club at the reservation you had tonight. A few seconds later, the star college athlete, soon-to-be NFL star, started to tell Kevin how his night was a complete disaster. First, he lost his cell phone because his now ex-girlfriend threw his cell phone into a fountain after they broke up. He seemed to be having trust issues with her, and Johnny was being blamed for sleeping around. But before he could finish his story, Johnny asked Kevin to use his cell phone because he has to call his girlfriend. He doesn't remember what room he's sleeping in. After Johnny used his cell phone, he told Kevin to take care. It was nice to meet him. Pulled out his wallet and gave him $300 and told him to pay the bill and keep the change. Kevin now struck with a dilemma. He pays the tab no problem, but he must explain to his boss why he's still there after work paying Johnny Manziel's tab. So the bartender and him agreed to split the money. $100 for Johnny Manziel's tab, $100 for the bartender's tip, and $100 for Kevin to keep the change, along with a great story to tell his coworkers tomorrow. But the night doesn't stop there. On the way to the parking garage, Kevin bumped into Johnny one more time in the elevator and asked him where he was going. Johnny, now completely drunk, couldn't complete his own sentences, but with his car keys in hand, he made it known he was going to drive home. So Kev did what any person would do. Stuck in an elevator with a drunk man looking for his car, he turned him around and got him into a cab. After placing him in the cab, he says, Johnny, hey Johnny, where do you live? Johnny gave him his address. He turned and asked the cab driver, do you know where that is? How much is it to go there? The cab driver said, $100. Johnny, now in the back seat, laid down with his eyes closed. He gave the cab driver $100 plus a $20 bill for the tip. And the next time that Kevin saw Johnny Manziel, it was on social media. He was getting engaged to another woman a week later, and the rest is history. Kevin laughed out loud because he saw the video on his phone and remembered for $20 he saved Johnny Manziel's life.